nearby. I'm just gonna go live. I'm live right now, and I'm gonna try and fix it on the fly. Hi, everybody. To anyone who's watching. I also need to alert anyone that I've gone live, but that's then. This is now. Let me see if I can't get some music. I had Mario music, but that doesn't seem to want to be working. Let's get my regular Yeehaw playlist going. It will not match the theme of what we are doing at all, but at the very least it'll be some kind of music. Alright. I need to do the go live majig. At everyone, I'm live. Alright, here we are. Hello. Howdy do. Quote treat. And we're live. Hello Trunket. Hello Captain Comic Geek. Welcome to the stream. Give me just a minute to try to get things in order. It's been a fucking rough time. I am having a fun diddle doodad trying to make this work. Post that there. And then in here. 1 second. It's weird knowing you guys can see my face. I'm not used to this. That's a cool map. I wonder who made it. Actually, the lovely Sophie made it, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Have I threatened everything with a hammer? Well, let me show you what I'm dealing with real quick. Okay? So I had a whole playlist with a whole bunch of Mario music in it. And this is Hoo Hoo Village from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. I don't know why all of my Mario music has been corrupted, and it's just the Mario music too. So, but that I had like a 70-song playlist that I had to put together for this, and it's just not working. It's just not working. No, I want to play Yeehaw. There we go. Nintendo hackers. The ninjas move faster than I can move. Unfortunately. So we're having just generic music. And also, I never did. We're gonna have to do this on the fly. Reminds me of the old days for the MP3s from YouTube videos. We are going to need to make another video capture device, a second video capture device. You're gonna see my face blown up real good here in a second. Logitech. Okay. Will it not let me do that? Of course it won't let me do that. Alright. So if we have to look... if we want to look at the book, I'm going to have to physically come over and enlarge my camera in order for you guys to see the book. So we'll start from that. Hello, guys, Tander. Yes, I'm not playing with my face on. The camera needs to be here. It's not a very good camera. Because what we are working on today is I am adapting the Nintendo 64 classic Paper Mario into a Ttrpg game notes for a campaign. We are going to be converting the story of Paper Mario 64 into... Oh, Cad followed me, but you can't see. Actually, you really can't see. Where's all my... Oh my god, I know what I did. Hold on, I gotta put this down here, and this down here. And now, when people follow me, it should show. But CAD48, thank you for the follow. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. You must be able to watch this VOD. I have a number of VODs that I need to upload. They're on the list. I'm sorry. So yes, you get a cowbell. You get a cowbell. Thank you for the follow. So here's what we're doing. Okay, let me give you the design goals. I have a map. It is a very pretty map. It was drawn by the illustrious Miss Sophie from the Marioverse server, and you can see actually up here they've included the Toad Town surroundings by Lady Sophie 17. Hello, Sophie. It encompasses the events and locations from Paper Mario, or Mario Story, as well as Paper Mario the Origami King. This is, as canon as we're gonna get, a map of Peach's Castle, Toad Town, and all of the surrounding areas. And what we're going to be doing is putting together notes for a GM who has access to this map to run a sandbox campaign recreating the events of Paper Mario 64, knowing that the locations of Paper Mario the Origami King are around. This is going to be a multi-stream event. We're going to be doing this every weekend through December, so at least 4 streams. And hopefully by the end of it, we will have notes so that anyone who isn't me can pick this game up and play it. Hello, Yoshi Coin. Hi, it's been a while. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. Bye, Gen Trigger. Thank you for stopping by. If you're interested, the write-up will be publicly available via Twitter and Tumblr, and the VOD will also be up shortly after the stream ends if you want to watch back. So, let me I gotta pull up a Word document, or in this case, it's gonna be an Open Office document. Open Office Writer. Give it a minute to load. Here we are. All right. So this is where we're going to be working on our actual notes. And unfortunately, the fucking glare is really bad with the white of this screen. Do we have anything I can do about that? Darling, when you have a moment, would you turn the big light on in the living room? No rush. See if that maybe balances out the white. So it's... I know that I am very white, but I'm not normally this white. My skin is just really...
Does that help?
No, not at all. It's alright. You can turn it off. Let's go back over here. Okay. So, yeah. And what we're going to be doing is going through chapter by chapter this book, which is the Nintendo Power Guide. We also have the less complete Brady Games Guide, which you guys so lovingly donated so I can own. And we're going to be converting it into a tabletop role-playing game. Let me start... actually, my mouse will be over here for that. Let me start... Hold on a minute. Let's move the chat box up, so that the chat box will still be visible when I make this go big. Okay, there we go. Much better, much better. Let me start by talking a little bit about what the story of Paper Mario 64 is, for those of you who have not played it. It's a very simple JRPG premise. You have a single location you're trying to get to, and along the way, you are consistently having to collect the MacGuffins. There are 7 MacGuffins, and you have to get all 7 of them to reach the final boss. The actual story of my RPG is very, very simple, but that is primarily because you are playing as Mario. The motivations of Mario are straightforward. You're going to save the princess. To save the princess, you got to get the 7 star spirits so Bowser isn't invincible anymore. That's pretty much it. The problem with adapting a single-player game into a tabletop role-playing game is you still need to give your players choice, and you also need the game world to be able to evolve to match the choices that your players make. With Mario, as a single-player game, you are gated by the game mechanics. You physically cannot go to a place until the game says that you can go to that place. You are incapable of breaking the sequence, and even if you do, via hacks and whatnot, the game assumes you followed the correct path. So if you happen to fight a boss too early, the boss won't know you fought them too early. It'll play out as though you already completed the previous mission. In fact, in some cases, the game code will actually give you powers you haven't unlocked just because it expects that you wouldn't be at this part of the game unless you have accomplished those milestones. You can skip entire chapters of the game using game hacks like that. As a TTRPG developer, we do not have that. It's not so set in stone. But we also have to then be aware of what the whole world is like, so that we can adapt it as our players make those choices. We're going to go through this book chapter by chapter. There are 8 chapters in the main story, and the parts of the game are actually called that. So we have A Plea from the Stars, Storming Koopa Brothers Fortress, The Mystery of Dry Dry Ruins, The Invincible Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to actually go by chapter, and we're going to adapt these as individual adventures. We're going to have a knowledge of what the whole game world is doing at all times, but we're going to separate them into the chapter sections so that depending on what order a play group goes through them, there will still be guidance for the GM. The only two chapters that need to be in a very specific situation is the prologue, followed by the final chapter. So A Plea from the Stars and A Star-Powered Showdown need to be at the beginning and end respectively. This will require a note that there's some player buy-in, being like, please do not go after Bowser immediately. And it will also need some assumptions on our part as to how we're going to get the adventure started. The starting scene of Paper Mario begins in Toad Town, very specifically in Princess Peach's castle. They would be incapable of getting to Bowser anyway. Yes and no. If my player said I want to build a rocket ship to get up to Bowser and they were dedicated on that, I would say, yeah, no, go here, there, and the other. Build a rocket ship and launch it at the castle. Beat Bowser any percent. Like, from my table, I'd say yes. But in order for the game to feel like the genre we're going for, there would need to be some buy-in, being like, there's going to be a cutscene opening. Like, you cannot stop Bowser from taking Princess Peach's castle, right? You also should not, go directly for the final boss, even if it's within your character's reach, right? That would require, like, if a player wanted to do something completely out of the ordinary to get Princess Peach out of the castle, that's fine. Oh hey, Cleanse God! Thank you so much for the follow. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you! Thank you. Thank you so much. Scary chicken noise. Ah, cowbell! Welcome to the stream. You'll get used to that real quick. We are attempting to adapt Paper Mario 64 into a tabletop role-playing campaign. And I'm just talking about the basic overview of how we're going to organize this. So let me pull up our notes. Blast me. Ah! Oh no, I'm turning white. Okay, so first off, let's see. Design aims. Is this large enough for you? Let me make it a nice round 20. And because I'm a monster, well, actually, can I change the color of the background? I don't know if I can. Format, object, page. I don't know if there's an easy way for me to do that. I'll figure it out. Do Comic Sans? No, literally, I was going to do Comic Sans. Comic Sans is actually proven to be better for working on design work. Something about it, if you do Comic Sans, I'll delete the map. Oops. Use a Mario font. What Mario fonts do I have? I know I have a couple of them. Let's see here. What's the name of the Paper Mario font? I know I have that downloaded, but it has an odd name to it, and I can't think of it. I have the Animal Crossing font, if that helps. I have... Let me see. The Animal Crossing font... Oh, here it is. Popjoy. There we go. There we go. Very, very thematic. Use wingdings. Yeah, sure, I'll use wingdings. Okay, so design aims. We are going to use a chaptered approach for everything. We are going to assume sandbox play. Okay? We're going to make sure that no matter what order they do the chapters in, they feel as though their choices mattered. It's not going to be a railroaded. The only direction is that you have to get the 7 star spirits, and you have to save Bowser. Save Peach from Bowser. Those are the only things that we're going to assume in this design document. Okay? If we want to be more of a West Marches style play, where the players start from a core place, save Bowser. You're literally taking notes. Okay, I'm glad. Assume sandbox play. Also, we are going to... We're going to aim for a living world. A couple of the key beats in Paper Mario 64's story assumes events are happening outside of Mario's control. They assume that Peach is actively doing espionage to learn information from Bowser. They assume that one of the star spirits, the purple one, I forget his name, attempts to escape from Gusty Gulch and is kidnapped at Boo Mansion, right? There are events that have to happen for the game to work the way it wants to work, and it has nothing to do with what Mario does. So we're going to aim for a living world. The purple one is Scholar. Thank you, Pete Izzle. We have to assume, we're going to aim for making a living world so that regardless of what your players do, certain events will just happen and we'll have to work from it. We're also... Oh, hey, Ghostly Artistry. You're getting a lot of follows today. Thank you so much for the follow. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Ahem. Thank you. Thank you. We are adapting Paper Mario 64 into a Ttrpg campaign. They've all been Marioverse members, lol. It's about damn time you guys follow me. I've been having this great Mario content for all this time, and you're going to wait till now? No, I'm kidding. You're fine. Y'all are fine. Y'all are good. We're talking about our design goals. So, chaptered approach, assume sandbox play, aim for a living world. I feel there was one more that I wanted to put for a design aim, but I cannot think of it. So, tabletop RPG. Oh, I remember what it was. Oh my god! 2 community subscriptions from Wonder Walleye. One to Jen Trigger and one to Geistander. Thank you so much for the subs! Oh my god, thank you! You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell! Thank you! And for those of you, if you are here, well, actually, Jen Trigger's not here. Geistander might be. For those of you who don't know, subs actually have access to a special channel in my Discord where I show off work in progress stuff. So actually, the world map is still the cowbell. It's still the cowbell. I'm sorry, I only have the cowbell. People who are in my henhouse group in my Discord actually got access to screenshots of this map while Sophie was working on it. So for those of you who are subbed on my Discord, like you already know what we're working on. The TT stands for tabletop, which is what I was going to type up next. Part 4 is we are going to not assume system. It would be so easy for me to be like, you're not allowed to play this in D&D. You're not allowed to play this in Pathfinder. But we're going to create notes that can be adapted to any system. We're not going to stat out how many hit points Bowser does. We're not going to talk about the armor class of the Koopa Ninjas. We are going to create notes for the story and the world, and whatever mathematical application a DM needs to put, that's on the DM. That's on the DM. So when the enemies are defeated, they won't be dead, they'll be like knocked out. That will be up to the individual DM. But if they're playing in these game notes, I'm going to assume it's because they want a Super Mario experience. And blood and gore and guts and killing is not Mario. But that's not under my control. That's not under my control. One of the things you have to learn about designing is that once you've stopped writing and the product is handed over to a table, what they do with that is not under your control. If they play it wrong and completely ignore your very carefully laid out information, that's on them. That's not on you anymore. So if someone does play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition using these notes, and they do have the ability in there for you to skewer Bowser in the first fights, that's not on me. That's between them and their DM and their table. If they find it fun, more power to them. The Mario is psycho play. Exactly. I will probably want to write. Let's put a little extra note here. Let's see. I'll see notes for later. This is just for me. Let's see. Describe tone of play and suggest a session 0. I'll probably end up doing like a foreword for the GM who reads these notes and be like, talk about your tone of play, establish the things that need to happen to buy-in. Brought to you by Matt Pat from Game Theory. Amazing. And also make sure that players are on the same page. And I'm actually going to make this much smaller now that we've read it. There we go. Notes for later. Okay. Fantastic. I'm actually going to make my camera just a smidge. Whoops, that's the wrong direction. There we go. Okay. So, where do we start? I am going to write out all the different chapters, and these will be our headings. Okay? So, we will begin with... Well, actually, we're going to do event 1. The party at Princess Peach's is going to have to be like the major hook, and that one needs to be... This will follow Paper Mario 64. Let me show you the map once again. This will follow Paper Mario 64, but on my behalf, Sophie has taken some great artistic liberties to also include a bunch of elements from Paper Mario Origami King. So here is here's the Whispering Woods. Here's Sweet Sap Loggins over here. Here's Toad's Barbecue Food Eatery from Origami King. You'll notice that there's Tasty's house, Harry's shop, and Shy Guy's toy box. But then we had to move the Club 64 and the dock over here so that we can include in all of this stuff from Origami King. So it's going to follow Paper Mario 64, but you forgot the Club 64 name. Yeah, I was looking for it. I was like, where did she say? Oh, is Club 64 the blue building? Then what's the red building? I thought. Oh no, this is Club 64. This is Club 64. Oh, that makes more sense. So Club 64 is here, and then here's where the docks are, and the whale would be like right here, or well, here-ish, whatever. Yeah, some creative liberties had to be taken. The red building is the trams. Gotcha. So you can see this is all Paper Mario 64. This is more of Origami King, but includes the Tail Tree, which I think was actually only there in Odyssey. I could be wrong. I've never played Origami King. One of the things that I have to do before we stream next is watch a full walkthrough of the fountain is from Paper Mario 64 as well. Yes! Oh gosh, that poor fountain. That poor fountain. But we're going to be splitting the world up into chapters, into sections, so that depending on in what order the players go through it, they'll still have a good time. And we'll have secondary chapters for all the locations that are Origami King exclusive. It's fitting you got a farming ad. Oh no. So let's bet back over here. So let's do, let's see. Plot hook, Party at Princess Peach's. Okay? And we're actually going to go ahead and bold this. Not that you can tell. Will I count the prologue as a full chapter or no? No, we're going to have the prologue. We're going to have A Plea from the Stars be its own separate chapter. It's going to be the tutorial that isn't... How do I word this? So, let me finish typing up all the chapters as I imagine them they'll be. This will change. This will change, though. So then we're going to do prologue, A Plea from the Stars, Chapter 1, Storming Koopa Bros Fortress, Chapter 2, The Mystery of Dry Ruins. Chapter 3 is The Invincible Tubba Blubba. Chapter 4, sorry, this is boring. Trials in the Toy Box. I hate that chapter so much. Chapter 5, Hot Times on Lava Island. I don't actually know how I'm going to handle the chapters that don't take place within the sandbox environment. Like, Flower Fields is a teleport. Typo chapter 4? Oh, you are correct. Thank you. Chapter 6, Dark Days in Flower Fields. Chapter 7, Star Spirit on Ice. I did another typo there. And then Chapter 8. Chapter 8, a star-powered showdown. Okay. So these are going to be the required chapters, right? This is the stuff that the players are going to have to do to get all 7 star spirits. And we're not going to write it up now, but there are going to be sub-chapters based on physical approximation. So for example, when we do the first prologue on the Goomba Village, Goombario's house and all that, right? You'll notice that the path on Goomba Road leads down past, this is what's the name of this place? It's the first ribbon, I think, in Origami King. So like this path here is not part of the direct path to Toad Town, but there's no reason why when your players are at this side of the fortress, they don't choose. It's the background of the Origami King areas. Yeah, so we'll have to populate this then. We'll have to, if the players choose to go off of this direction, they can. If they choose to approach Star Hill, Shooting Star Summit from the opposite side, I mean, there's no real reason they can't. So we'll have to populate these areas as a sub-chapter so that when the players say, hey, what's off this way, the DM can just flip a page and go like, oh, that's this, and go from there. All right, let's actually get some words down. Where do we want to start? I think the first thing we should do is talk about... The next thing we should do is talk about the plot hook. Party at Princess Peach's. In the original Mario 64, right? For those of you who have played it. Actually, let's lower this down to 14 for the time being. Have that and unbold it. Okay. In the original Paper Mario 64, the entire story kicks off with Mario and Luigi being invited to a party at Princess Peach's castle. There's a great number of foreign dignitaries from all the places that you're going to adventure during the story. And while Luigi stays down on the ground floor with other guests, Mario goes up to see the princess, which is what triggers Bowser attacking from underground, raising the castle up into the sky, and taking everyone hostage. I still want that party to be a thing that happens. And unfortunately, I do not have a map on hand for how the inside of the castle should look. I haven't gotten that yet, so we're not going to be able to go like room to room to room. But eventually, for the prologue, for the plot hook rather, I want players to investigate the castle. They're not going to be able to visit the castle again till the end of the campaign. So at this point, I want the players to be able to look around the rooms, interact with various NPCs, interact with party guests, and just sort of like get ingratiated with the world. I'll actually add a note, plot hooks for other locations. They're going to be speaking with dignitaries from Shiver City. They're going to be speaking with people from the Dry Ruins, or Dry Outpost, rather. They're going to be talking to the various Toads of Toad Town about Princess Peach and about Mario. Now, my concern, and this comes from experience, when adapting media that has a main character, right? So, like, if I were to be making a Dragon Ball Z adventure, right, and I set it during a time period where Goku is around, or Piccolo is around, or any of those main characters are around, the question then becomes, if something's wrong and Goku's here, why don't we just ask Goku? This is actually an issue that early D&D had, where when a character reached 20th level, they retired, despite being the most powerful wizard ever. And a lot of questions people had was like, well, if we know there's a level 20 wizard over there, then why don't we level 1 adventurers go ask him to take care of the Lich? He stays stuck in the castle the whole adventure. That is actually my plan, okay? We know 2 things about the attack on Princess Peach's castle. We know that half the party guests get kidnapped along with Princess Peach, but Luigi and a number of other dignitaries do escape. Luigi escapes, all right? So we're going to put lower floors escape, upper floors are captured, okay? So the plan then is we introduce Mario. Mario's at this party. Luigi is at this party. And the invincible fight with Bowser is not going to be something the players interact with. It's something they see while they're trying to escape. So the plot hook will then be a race to escape. The players will escape. The players will escape. No matter what they do, the players will escape in order for the adventure to happen. But the first bit, investigating the castle, will allow them to know how the castle operates and know which rooms they can duck into, which ones they can hide into, which ones they can get stuff from. So there's going to be an earlier bit. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. There's going to be an earlier bit where they're investigating the castle, talking to the guests. It's a fun party. They meet Mario, they meet Luigi. Mario goes off to talk to Peach. And then the second half is when the Koopa Troopas attack. Let's see. Koopa Troopa attack. And the players have to run out. Maybe as they're escaping the castle, as the castle is up to the sky, they can see Mario be defeated by Bowser on the upper parapet or something, and they are down on the ground, unable to do anything about it. This obviously requires the player's buy-in. The GM will have to inform the player the opening cinematic is scripted. Don't attack Bowser. Your goal is to meet people, and when shit happens, help those people leave. See, that's the important thing, right? The important thing is that you don't want to say you have to run away, okay? No matter what game you're playing, the players will not want to run away. They'll want to stay, they'll want to fight, because fighting is doing. Fighting is active. Fighting is fun. They have this character with all these abilities. They're not going to want to not use them. So instead, you flip it, and you don't say you're running away. You say you're helping the people escape. You tell them, Bowser is invincible. Your goal as adventurers is to rescue as many people from the castle as possible. And actually, you know what? You can even tell them straight up who you rescue will change what happens in the adventure, right? Instant death if you hit Bowser, troll face. No, that's just punishing the players for trying to play the game. They're gonna want to fight Bowser because Bowser is the big boss. If they somehow manage to kill Bowser in the opening cutscene, they won the game. Even if a player wants to play a long campaign, the temptation, that's what I was looking for, will be too powerful to fight against for most players. Even if it's just giving a parting shot on their way out, they'll want to do something to affect the big bad. You tell them they can't do that, they'll want to do it more. You tell them they have something more important to do, they'll focus on that. You should have a time limit on rescuing the guests. I agree. There's a time limit. Let's see. One time, says Cad, I tried to push my players towards running away. The opponent is too strong for them. They all ran in and all but 2 got killed. Yeah, no. Tale is old as time. I've been a player who hasn't wanted to run away. Because running away is... When you run away, when you admit defeat, the game ends, right? The game is rolling the dice to do things. Running away is cutting off any possibility of doing things. And no one wants to do that. No one wants to do it. Even if it's the smart thing to do. Even if it's the single most intelligent thing they could do, they will want to stay and fight because fighting is playing the game. Which is why, again, we dangle something in front of them that is still doing, but it effectively allows you to remove them from a no-win scenario to allow the story to actually happen. All right? Plot host locations. Actually, you know what? Plot host locations and also Star Spirit lore. In the world of Mario 64, not a lot of people are, like, fully aware of how the machinations of the Star Spirits work. People reference wishing to the stars. People who are involved with the Star Spirits directly, like Twink, Merlin's son, who raises the baby stars. They know what's what. They know how it works. But the average lay toad only vaguely knows that when you wish to stars, sometimes it comes true. However, for the purposes of this game, we'll want to be able to convey some of the information that we got from the game in the opening cutscene where Bowser captures the Star Spirits to be conveyed to the party. So we'll want to have a couple of NPCs there who are willing to divulge some information about the Star Rod before they see Bowser using it to beat the shit out of Mario. So that's a note for me for later. When we actually have a map, we'll come back in here and we will talk more about what happens. Maybe if there's a time limit, all right, if they hit the time limit, Luigi saves them, question mark, as much as Luigi can. Luigi will be the trigger. Luigi has to escape no matter what. He's gonna get out of there no matter what. But if the players still want to go back and save that one last toad, and the GM's like, no, that's a time limit, Luigi will grab them and yoink them out, and they'll be like, no, as they watch the castle pulled out of the way, out of reach, and then that will start the adventure. Okay. Now, with that, there's a problem. Because Buff Luigi. Oh, Mamma mia. Oh, actually, I gotta go. Not bad. The assumption from A Plea from the Stars, the prologue, is that right off the bat, right, right off the bat, it assumes that Mario is bodily flung from the castle. And maybe we could still do that. Say the time limit is when the castle gets as high as it can without, like, becoming impossible to survive a jump from. Imagine trying to save guests, and Luigi is literally holding everyone as he dramatically jumps off the castle as it's gonna lift off. Maybe, I don't know. It's up to the DM to describe it. I imagine, with the people who I play with, right? If they know the time limit is hit, and just one of them, for like the sake of the drama, goes, "No, I can save them," the party will generally pull them back. But worst case scenario, Luigi's like, "We gotta go, come on," and doesn't let them like pull away until they have to go. But again, this premise will be communicated to the players for them to play along. He's got long enough arms to hold everyone. Actually, I haven't watched through the Origami King. Isn't Olivia trapped under the castle? Is that a thing? Where is the shrine where Mario meets Olivia? Luigi comes back with massive long origami arms and says, "I don't have enough time to explain what's happening. We gotta go." And he gathers everyone up and just runs out with them. That's actually one thing that Sophie has not included in the map. I haven't asked for it, mind you. But the locations in Bowser's Inside Story, maybe even some from Mario RPG, like triangulating where like Barrymore and Booster's Tower would be from those games in relation to Toadstool's Castle, maybe including those in the map is a possibility. I'm not going to ask Sophie to draw all that because I haven't paid her a thing. Oh, you can absolutely include them. Nice. But you don't have to if you don't want to. You've already done. Let me show that again. Look at all this fucking work that Sophie put into this. Sophie's maps. Can we just gush about Sophie for a minute? We're mostly Marioverse members here, so we know. Sophie's maps are a fucking thing of art. They are just absolutely fantastic. And, like, this isn't finished. Sophie has told me that they're going to add more content to it as time goes by. This is just where they could get before this weekend. But this is just a thing of fucking beauty. The detail, the look, Unpleasant Path. They even included the little blue boppers as you go along. And this is the one that you walk around and it goes doot doot doodle doot doot doodle doot 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 and spits hearts out at you. Like, they've included so much information on here. Seeing the Whispering Woods makes me imagine a scenario where Mario just lands in the Healing River instead of Goomba Woods. You know what? I mean, it's a little far. The presumption is that the castle is lifted up from here and then taken north as it raises up to allow Mario to land in this area. It's about as far. So possibly, maybe, if we have a special chapter in these notes for each individual area, if a DM says, "I'd rather my characters start off in the Koopa Fortress," or if they rather start off in the Haunted Woods, like, why not? Why not? All that matters is you get all 7 star spirits in whatever order you want, and you just go from there. The players will go after what content they want to go to. So if they say, "I want to head north to see what's past Star Hill," okay, you go north to see what's past Star Hill. You ask them if they want to cross the river, and if they do, then bam, you're in the Goomba Village section of the game, and you interact with that. I'm trying to think where we should actually type up next. I'm doing a lot of talking, but I'm not doing a lot of typing. So these chapters are numbered based on how they are They're numbered in the main game, but we're not going to assume that anything except for the plot hook and a star-powered showdown happen in the places they are. So even though this is called a prologue, a plea from the stars, let's actually change that name. Let's under 14. Let's name it. Let's see here. In a prologue of A Plea from the Stars, we start off in Goomba Village. Let me flip over. One problem for making a giant cohesive map is that some rooms are blocked off by the lack of surrounding areas and end up becoming easier to traverse. If we release this map to the public, I'll be adding my own notes to it. And chances are, Sophie, with your permission, I will end up just making shit up to fill areas in. All right, let's see here. So looking at, let's pull up my oh, hey, Reckless Attack, thank you so much for the raid. 5 people, welcome everybody. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Ahem. Thank you. For all of those who just joined us, we are adapting Paper Mario 64 into notes for a sandbox campaign. And we have this wonderful custom map of the Mushroom Kingdom and all of its surrounding areas made by the lovely lady Sophie17. And we are just starting on our notes for the prologue chapter, A Plea from the Stars, which takes place in and around Goomba Village. Hello, hello, hello. What were you guys doing before now? Were you playing a game? Were you doing a Ttrpg? Tell me what you guys were doing before you showed up. Well, I'll take a drink of water real quick. Or, well, McDonald's Sprite, but, you know. Pardon me. So, pulling this up real quick. So, we have here, Nintendo Power Guide, A Plea from the Stars, from what I remember of the first prologue. It's primarily tutorial, so it gates you into a lot of sub-areas to teach you all this stuff. We're not going to want this for the game, right? We don't want this area to be a tutorial, simply because we can never assume the players will stick around long enough to experience all the tutorial content. It sucks because of the lack of action command. Honestly, yeah, but also considering who it was aimed at, every time I play it, I'm like, it's kind of nice I don't have to worry about hitting extra buttons. Just straightforward, hit a Goomba and go from there. So here we have the large area of Goomba Village, and there are 2 things that jump out to me over here. Okay, over here. Number 2 is Hammer at Home, which is where you get the hammer and you fight Junior Troopa. All right, because Junior Troopa has the little play place, right? And then the king-size battle with the Guardian Goombas and the Goomba King. So Red Goomba, Blue Goomba, and the Goomba King. Okay? So, my thought process is the 2 things that have to be done in that area is you have to get rid of the bully of Junior Troopa, and then on the other end, you have to get rid of King Goomba and his lackeys who are blocking access from their fortress. Pardon me. So I think we can actually separate this section, Plea of the Stars, pardon me, into 2 subsections. All right, so we're already doing subsections now. We're going Prologue A, which is Junior Troopa's Turf. Okay. And then Prologue B, which is, let's see, King Goomba's Reign. Okay? Whichever one you go from, whether you start from Goomba Village and you realize that you have to fight King Goomba in order to get back to Toad Town, or you investigate the local area in order to deal with Junior Troopa, either way, you gotta deal with one of them. Okay? So let's start off with Junior Troopa's Turf. Okay? Let's start off with Prologue A, Junior Troopa's Turf. What is the plot hook here? I seem to recall, oh, let me, well, you can't see what I'm typing. I forgot to change this again. I'm so sorry. I'm looking at my blown up face being like, why don't I see the text? I'm an idiot. Let me see here. So, the world around Goomba Woods, or Goomba Road, okay? We have Goomba Village here, All right, this is where the Goomba family live, where Goombario lives. There's a toad here. It's a small little village. The main path, in order to get to proper like city civilization, requires you to travel through the woods to Goomba Road. There are no other bridges. So King Goomba, Goomba King, is actively blocking off the only realistic way of getting to and from the main city, right? They are locked over this river. They need to go this way. And if Goomba King, who has been empowered by Bowser, starts throwing around his weight a little bit, that's one, a sign to the players that it's not just Princess Peach. It's not just the people who are trapped in the castle. Bowser has sent his minions out to cause problems for everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom, okay? Similarly, if they want to go to this area, or they're not planning on going to this area, you can throw a plot hook in Toad Town where someone says, I went to deliver food to the Goombas in Goomba Village, but the bridge has been overtaken by a massive Goomba and his goons. Can someone clear them out for me? So there you go, you have a plot hook. All right. On a more personal note, the areas around here is Junior Troopa's domain. Junior Troopa has a little play place. I want to say it's here-ish? I'm trying to remember where exactly it is. No, hold on a minute. No, over here is where Junior Troopa's playhouse is. Right, because you go up the hill and then around the corner and you pop back out here. Got it. Okay, so Junior Troopa in the Tattle log is stated to be something of a local bully, right? So having a more personal issue where the kids in the Goomba Village are having this turf war of sorts with this bully who's come in and taking over these places where they used to play in their own backyard, that can be a more personal issue. So it's more of a side quest kind of deal, you know. So let's say, let's see, Junior Troopa is taking turf around Goomba Village, terrorizing the weaker kids. Okay, simple enough. Thank you for telling me whenever I have a typo. All right, this will mean that we need to have a stat block for Junior Troopa, but we'll worry about that in a second. This is the overview. Okay, let's say, actually, you know what? Let's also include the dolly in there and taking their toys. Right? That's a little more active. It's not just that Junior Troopa recurs throughout the game. Yes, he is a recurring mini-boss. However, that only happens once you have this inciting incident. The game, the actual base game, the N64 game, has flags around for you to encounter him. But from a story perspective, Junior Troopa has nothing against Mario until Mario shows up, implying I won't violently disable. No! He's a child! Be nice to him! Yeah, he decides to antagonize the protagonist, and from that point forward, he chases Mario all over the map, trying to get a rematch. Okay? So the end result of this, if you defeat him in combat or whatever, he will attempt to consistently attack the party to prove that he's stronger. It makes sense to have more Goombas living in Goomba Village for it to be a proper village than a family and a toad. Most definitely. I do agree with that. But for now, we'll worry about expanding individual areas once we complete like the base stuff. We want the core game story to exist, and then we can leave room open to flesh things out, add additional Goombas or whatever. All right. But, okay, Junior Troopa is taking turf around Goomba Village, terrorizing the weaker kids, and taking their toys. So on a macro level, the village is in danger because King Goomba won't allow anyone to get through. On a micro level, the kids in the village specifically are being terrorized by a bully, and they need assistance. For some reason, I'd think of Fallout special perks like you speech your way out peacefully. I mean, if that's what your players want to do. if that's what your players want to do. The base game assumes you're going to have combat and violence because it's an RPG with turn-based combat. That's the game. That's not necessarily required in this, though. So we just set it up, and however the players knock it down, up to the players. This actually does then bring me to a very interesting point. Partners. How are we going to handle the partners in this game? Because Mario is a silent protagonist, and each individual chapter, depending, some are better than others, have the partner characters undergo some sort of minor change and then agree to join with Mario. I do not want the partners to be pushed aside, but I also don't want them to be required for completing the chapter, right? Because if you have a party of four, I held up 3 fingers, of 4 players, right? Let's assume 4 players, right? That tends to be how it works, okay? And then you start adding in the party members as DM-run NPCs. That's way too much. That's way too much. So here is my thought process. If we tie the emotional arc to a previous Mario partner into one of the side bits, yours has 8, you're fucking insane. But that's fine, as long as you're having fun. If we tie the partners into a very specific side quest or subplot in each chaptered area, it will allow the players to interact with those characters and see them go through their story beats without them needing to become a permanent member of the party. You're playing one with 7 right now. The game that I was playing in had 5 consistent players, but the max players were 7. And that was... whew! That's a lot. That is a lot. Especially for a DM. And when you are the DM, you're already having a lot of energy to create the NPCs the players interact with. If you also have to worry about being the side characters who are with the party, that's a whole other thing. So what I think I want to do, we're going to go ahead, actually. This is DSF here, so we know there's more notes for the... this is the overview. Let's go ahead and create a character. We're going to insert table, and we're going to make... let's do 2 columns, 4 rows, and we'll make it prettier later. So this is where we're going to have our character information, okay? Now again, we're not statting out these characters. We're going to have their name, the description, we're going to have their motivation, and if they are meant to be recruitable, we'll include what benefit they can add to the party. So we'll give them the opportunity to invite people to their party, but also have the DM have reasons to allow them to leave. So let's start off with Goombario. All right, actually, you know what? Let me pull up the book. We have the book. Let me read what the official North American book says about Goombario, because they have a page here with all of the characters and their abilities and their lore. So let's whoop, we have this right here. It includes all the information, a little blurb, little art, all of their powered up abilities. All right, we're not going to include all of that in this write-up, but we are going to reference it. So Goombario, okay? Ahem. It reads, a young member of the Goomba family in Goomba Village. Goombario has always been a big fan of Mario. Like most Goombas, he has a hard head and a fighting spirit. He knows a great deal about the Mushroom Kingdom and will clue you in on most anything you like to know. Okay, so right off the bat, all right, Goombario, okay? Young Goomba, blue hat. Motivation. He idolizes Mario, all right? So, and in a sense, his story in Mario 64, Paper Mario 64, is becoming a hero like Mario. There's dialogue in the beginning where he like fanboys over Mario. He's all excited to see Mario, to meet him, to help him out any way that he can. He wants to go on adventures. And by the end of the game, when he meets his mom again in Toad Town, he's embarrassed by her, but also he's a little more no nonsense. He's a little more focused. He's like, I am on this adventure. I am doing stuff. I am helping people. His arc is him becoming a hero like his idol Mario. So we're going to put that in as becoming a hero. Okay? That's what he wants to do. He idolizes Mario, but Mario's not here. Mario is not in this story. He's been captured by Bowser, and he can't save anyone. So his motivation is becoming a hero, which ties us back into Junior Troopa, right? If the players choose to interact with Junior Troopa to help Goombaria get her dolly back, to help the other kids face down this bully that the adults are too busy to deal with, Goombario being the one leading the charge and the players assisting him in fighting back, will then get Goombario like initiated with the party, get them interacting with him, learn to like him, and then let's see here. Let's do bonus or use. What word do I want to use? Ability. I'll just put in tattle. I know what tattle means. You guys know what tattle means. All right. If he is motivated to help the party fight King Goomba, which he will be, right? And he decides they decide to ask him to come with them to further assist in saving Mario and the princess, then as a DM NPC, they can ask him information. He'll be like a lore delivery service for the DM. If the DM has information that he wants the players to know, Goombario can be like, oh, I heard about that once, and then tell them the information. Or if it's something the DM doesn't really know yet, or doesn't like want the players to know, they can just be like, well, I don't know much about that. That doesn't have anything to do with that I've researched before. So it's not a one size fits all. Here's all the lore character, but here's a guy who's willing to help him out. He has some knowledge. Let's see, family oriented, and there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. One thing that I do wish that did happen if Goombario showed up in more games after the first one was showing him basically be like the third Mario brother with having his own blue Mario cap. I think that'd be really cute. Let's go over here and also include a Junior Troopa. Do we have a write-up on Junior Troopa in this book? Let me see here. It would be in the first chapter. Let's see here. Neighborhood Bully, Junior Troopa. It mentions him, but it doesn't tell us about his fight. No, it doesn't tell us about his fight. Let me look back in the bestiary if there's write-ups for any of these monsters back here. Okay, no, there is information on each of the monsters back here. So let me find Hij. Junior Troopa. Junior Troopa is a bully and a thug, and he lashes out at anyone who invades his precious playground. So we'll go ahead and put there. What is Junior Troopa? He's a Koopa, so he's a young Koopa, a bully, and a thug. He lashes out at anyone who invades his precious playground. Okay? His motivation is power. He wants to be strong, and he will continually fight you just to get back at you. He's very petty. He's a young Koopa. Technically speaking, he doesn't actually look terribly much like the Koopas in Paper Mario, so he's definitely meant to be like vaguely similar, but Not quite, but we're going to retcon that. A lot of the enemies in this book, we will actually end up replacing them with more modern Mario enemies. Like the Bazaps in Flower Field, we'll probably replace them with a more modern Bee enemy. I don't know. And I don't know how far I'm going to... Like, obviously, this draft looks rough. Like, I'm just slapping words on paper. If I pretty this up and release it to the public to run, I'll probably want to get, like, custom art of everything in order to make it more of, like, a beloved fan stuff. The gotta mandates! The gotta mandates! Yes, no. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. These are just notes to inspire you. If you want to say they look like the original art, then by all means. Why not? But that's then. This is now. This is now. So his motivation is power, and pettiness. The reason why he bullies the other kids, why he claims areas as his turf, why he takes Goombaria as Dolly, is because by beating people down, he feels more powerful, which is a traditional how bullies work when you're a kid. The main difference, of course, is Junior Troopa will then pursue the party for as long as they continue to play the game, just trying. He'll be the Scrappy Doo, constantly popping up and being like, I challenge you to a battle! And they're like, come on, do we have to fight Junior today? But that does mean that the party then has a small child to bully, which is always fun. So, you know, that's good. All right. We'll also want to include write-ups on the Goomba family. All right. We won't write anything up right now. We'll probably want to put an NPC in the Toad House. And then if we flesh out the rest of the world, we'll include more information here. Let me see, what else do we have? So we have this plateau region. This is like more like a valley kind of thing, where it goes. This is lower. It goes up to about here, the high plateau, and then goes down again on the other side of the river. So depending on what else we populate this surrounding area with, what we decide to put in these woods, what we decide to put over here, there could be more NPCs to interact with, more enemies to fight. Actually, you know what? Let me just real quick go back. Is there a list of enemies we can find in this chapter? There probably is, isn't there? Let's see here. Goomba Village. So probably the worst place to put a bridge on. I mean, I didn't design it. Let's see here. There's information about Goomnuts. There's Goombas, Paragoombas, and Spiky Goombas. I'm looking at this map, and it doesn't actually tell us the enemies that are in this area. Does the bestiary tell you where they are? No, the bestiary does not tell you where they are. So that's an issue. We'll want to populate each of these chapters with spawn lists of encounters for random encounters in the event the party decides they want to just head through. Oh no, here we go. Page 100 has an entire page called enemy locations. So let me show you. It tells you step by step where you can find enemies. So that's not too bad. Okay, so Goomba Village and Goomba Road. So let's do A Plea from the Stars, Encounters. We'll make this 14 again. Not a lot of recurring counters here. So we have Goombas, Paragoombas, Spiked Goombas. Paragoomba is one word in this book. That's weird. And then, of course, we have Junior Troopa. We might include some other younger named Goombas to act as Junior's goons, but that's not something we have to worry about right now. On Goomba Road, we also have the exact same spawn list with the addition of the red and blue. Why did I start doing double O's? Goomba Bros. And then, is he listed as King? He's listed as Goomba King. But you guys know, he appears in Mario 64 DS. Does he have a different English name in that game? I know his Japanese name is the same, and they're intended to be the same character, but I think that they localize him different for 64 DS. He's listed as Goomboss. I'm actually going to go ahead and call him Goomboss, and then we're going to put King. Because the implication is that he wasn't a massive Goomba until Bowser powered him up, right? So he was just a regular Goomba, maybe a bit larger than normal, with red and blue as his, like, muscle, until he became King. So we'll worry about them a bit later. Okay, so encounters, these are all the enemies that you'll fight in the base game. Prologue A. All right, let's actually move this character chart. Encounters. Character chart. Will I do anything involving power-ups? Again, I want this to be system neutral. I want anyone to take this and be able to homebrew their adventure in. I will include lists of power-ups for sale, and I'll probably mess around a little bit, because one of the things about Paper Mario 64 that I enjoy, right, is there is a sub-mechanic where different items are worth different values depending on where you buy and sell them. You can buy an item low in one location, travel somewhere else, sell it for more than you bought it for, and repeat this system over and over and over. I love that because it implies there's a working economy in this mushroom world. So what I'll probably do is include lists of things that are for sale in different locations, as a guide for GMs to be like, yeah, no, they sell fire flowers here, but they're more expensive. Why are they more expensive? I won't describe that. The GM can come up with that. But I won't dictate what the power-ups actually do. If you're playing 5e and you want them to act like magic items, go for it. Add some zeros onto the price so they're more expensive. If you want them to be one-and-done power-ups like they are in the base game, why not? Go for it. Just determine how much damage they do and in your system and go from there. I'm not going to try to dictate what the numbers are. Just include the information so you can ad lib or homebrew in that information depending on what game you're playing in. Actually, I probably should include Goomboss and red and blue Goomba Bros as characters. The Goomba family outside of Goombario is 4 people, so that's 4. That's 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10 characters in one location. That's actually plenty of NPCs. Like, there can still be some extra Goombas living around the area that aren't hostile to you, but that's still plenty of people in a small village if you're gonna talk to them. There's enough that every player in a 4-player game would have an individual person to connect with if they felt like it, but also not too many that they have to spend time running around. So that's actually not terrible. We'll flesh it out if we feel the need to. Maybe at a small shop, a stand of some sort to buy things from. Someone selling Goom Nuts, maybe. I don't know. We also should include a line about Goom Nuts now that I think about it for like resources that are available in the area, but that's fine. All right, so let's walk through the individual subplots in this chapter. So first of all, there's Prologue A, Junior Troopa's Turf. So Junior Troopa is taking turf around Goomba Village, terrorizing weird kids and taking their toys. The adults are too busy bartering with King Goomba to help. See Prologue B. Goombario takes matters into his own hands. All right, that's the overview. All right, goal: find peace between rivals. Retrieve stolen toys. That doesn't necessarily mean you gotta fight Junior Troopa. You just have to somehow get the kids to stop fighting and get back what Junior has taken. It could very well lead to violence where you fight Junior and his goons. Prologue. Did I misspell prologue? I did, didn't I? It does not bother me at all. Please point out my my typos as I make them. Okay, so this right here is enough for 1 or 2 nights of adventuring. Like, if we take this premise and the players go for it and combine it with the fact that Goomba Village is here and you have to travel down along this path in order to reach the play place, right? That's enough. That's enough adventure right there. That's 1 night's adventure. And we still have all of this. We still have all of this. You know, another thing that we should probably mention is the collapsing porch. How am I going to do that? Because that was a scripted event. Interesting. Let me think on that for a second. We'll come back to it. All right, so Prologue A, Troopa's Turf. This is 1 entire adventure. Prologue, you assume the area's scale will be fudged up. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. King Goomba's Reign. All right, so the premise is there was an earthquake caused by Bowser's castle lifting. That is true. That is true. We'll include that in the timed events. We'll talk about timed events in a moment. Let's do Prologue B, King Goomba's Reign. Okay? Goomboss recently promoted by Bowser to King Goomba. Has cut off the only bridge to Toad Town. Okay? Simple enough. His lackeys, Red and Blue Goomba Bros, he was powered up by the Star Rod. Recently powered up, thank you for establishing that, by Bowser via Star Rod. That's information that a DM would need to know if they haven't played this game 22 times like I have. And I have played it. I've counted 22 times start to finish. I'm 21 times start to finish. I'm in Flower Fields on the 22nd playthrough, so I'm almost there. Has cut off the only bridge to Toad Town. His lackeys, Red and Blue Goomba Bros, are enforcing the ban from the Goomba Village side. This does not assume... Nope, did I? How did that... How did this become a doodad and the other one didn't? Huh. Well, we'll figure it out in a second. Let's make... No, I don't want to do that. I'll figure this out, I swear it. Let's cut this. There we go. Now I'll paste that back in. There we go. Formatting. Does it matter? Not right now. No. Okay. So this premise does not determine which side you're coming from. Either you're on the Toad Town side trying to get to Goomba Village, or you're on the Goomba Village side trying to get to Toad Town. They've blocked it off. Whichever way the party approaches this is up to them. The Goomba Village side is being run by Red and Blue Goomba Bros, whereas the bridge side is being enforced by King Goomba in his Goomba Fortress. Let me think. How are we going to... Because originally, Goomboss's entire thing was that he was specifically put in place to prevent Mario from going forward. In the game, the bridge is folded up into a tower. That is also true. That is also true. Has repurposed the only bridge in Toad Town into a grand fortress. Are enforcing his rule from the Goomba Village side. Okay. That's the premise. That's the premise. What other information do we need? The adults are too busy bargaining with King Goomba to help, see Prologue B, so now we know why they're doing. If the player approaches from Toad Town, they need to find another way around because they can't liberate the bridge from that side. Listen, in my experience, if players are given a gap they can't travel across, they will do everything in their power to figure it out, up to and including building a catapult. But also, that's a really good plot hook. If they try to reach Toad Town from try to reach the Goomba King from this side, they got a whole river to contend with. Will they travel further up the river? Will they travel further down the river? Will they try to go back to Toad Town and use a boat to sail underneath these bridges in order to get up this river? This may be a stopgap. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to hit the camera. But there are multiple ways to solve the issue. But they will have to go through the Goomba King eventually. And also, by stating that the Blue Goomba Bros, the Red and Blue Goomba Bros are on the Goomba Village side, even if they do cheese it and sail their way to Goomba Road from here, if they want to get back to Toad Town and let the Goombas have access to the city again, they will have to go through Goomba King anyway. So I think that'll still work. That'll still work. I don't actually think we need a second dash. I think that's pretty much it. Goomboss will not allow access to Toad Town until the Goomba Village accepts his rule? Question mark? He wants to be in charge now that he's big and strong and powerful. The players may decide to tell the Goombas, yeah, no, just let him pretend to rule you so you can have your bridge back, or they may fight to knock him down. It's entirely up to them. And I think that's kind of it. That's all we really need to know about Prologue B. It doesn't feel like a lot, but interacting with the Goomba Village, interacting with the various lackeys that Goomboss has on Goomba Road, as well as Red and Blue, that'll take some time. That's an entire village. It's an entire adventure right there. Let's go back up a little bit. Items to find. Let's do items to find, and we'll start with what's listed in the game. We'll start with what's listed in the book, and then we'll flesh it out as needed. I really should have a bookmark on the certain pages that I'm going after. Okay, so items to find. Oops. Mushroom, fire flower, technically a repel gel, but that's all right. Let's do Goom Nut, Sleepy Sheep, Close Call Badge. I'm just gonna list them for now. And a Hammer Throw Badge. Is there anything else? Well, this page includes Toad Town. So technically speaking, the Hammer Throw Badge shouldn't be on here just yet. That should be in the Toad Town section. There is a Super Shroom. Okay. So let's include... Where is the Close Call Badge found? It is found in a... Okay. So let's put... Also star pieces. I'm not going to include star pieces until I figure out how I'm going to do those. I don't... Because the thing is, if we specifically include the star pieces where they're found in the Paper Mario 64 map, then we have to then invent places for the star pieces to be everywhere else in the world. I feel like star pieces should be given out at DM discretion, either as a reward or as like for help for like accomplishing side quests. They get a star piece for that, as opposed to having them all the way all found in the world where they're supposed to be. So let's do. Whoops. Let's do question mark block loot. And then local resources. Let's actually put the Super Shroom in the question block loot. I imagine that this will be like roll tables. Right? The DM will determine how many question blocks they find, or if they find any, and if the players interact with them, the DM will roll to see what power-up they get. Local resources is more stuff they find in the local flora and fauna, so Goom Nuts, and let's just do special. Special reward. Special reward. Close Call Badge, or the Repel Gel. Okay. So this, I think, should be enough information for Gene to be like, this is, if my players want to look for stuff, this is what they'll find if they look for it. That's enough information, I think. Okay. So, aside from stats, we have the initial plot hook, Goomba's shoe. Is that in the game? Let's start by only adapting what's in each chapter, and then on the second pass, we'll go back and flesh it out. Does that make sense? Goomba Shoe isn't in Paper Mario 64, but we also have to include subchapters for the Origami King stuff. All right, fair enough. I completely understand. I completely understand and agree the desire to put all the cool stuff from Mario lore in there. But also, I feel like if we shove everything into the official path for the story of Paper Mario 64, we will then run out of cool stuff to put in the other areas. Like, just on the top of my head, right? We find Goombas, Paragoombas, and Spike Goombas going down Goomba Road. That's where Red and Blue Goomba and Goomboss's lackeys are patrolling. But what if we decide we want to go into this wooded area over here? Maybe that's where we'll find Goombas that are wearing Goomba shoes. Maybe there'll be an area over here where Goombas, where Galoombas are. Maybe it'll be an underground area where all the Galoombas are, and they have their own special unique stuff. We'll stick with just the data from the game itself, as boring as that may sound, and decide where we want to put this cool stuff from other Mario games to flesh out the rest of the map. The issue then will be needing to partition what stuff goes where in terms of the organization of the book. I imagine that this area, all of this right here, will be part of the Goomba Village section. And then, of course, this right here will be the Toad Town section. Then this area, including this bit up here, is going to be its own We'll have to have, like, a marked off area of the map, a version of the map where it's just marked off, like, information on this is in chapter so-and-so, which is a problem we will come to later. That's a problem for future Gata. That's a problem for future Gata. All right. So that is, I think, a good enough start. A good enough start. We will want to include an entire new chapter. Let's do chapter, I can type, Toad Town. It's Toad Town. We'll include this as a main header, but we're not going to work on it just yet, as I do need to research more of Origami King to know what all is in there. It's toading time! No, it's not toading time just yet. It's not toading time just yet. Toad Town and the inside of Princess Peach's castle are stuff that I'm not prepared to do tonight, but oh, you know what? We did forget one thing in Goomba Village. We want to have a timed event. Timed event. Now, this is something that I briefly mentioned earlier. So there are a couple of events in Paper Mario 64's story that happen unrelated to whether or not Mario is there to experience it. So, for example, when Skolar escapes from Gusty Gulch and manages to make it to the Boo Mansion before he's kidnapped again, Mario only learns of that after Skolar's been kidnapped, and Bootler informs him that they have Skolar, right? There is Luigi escaping from the castle and making it back home. Mario doesn't actually see that happen until he goes and Luigi's like, oh my god, you're out too, I escaped, right? That stuff happens regardless of what Mario or the players do. Another one of those events is going to be here, which is going to be Goompa's porch breaks and falls. Okay? So, timed event, Goompa's porch or pavilion or whatever they call it. Okay? So, there we go. It formatted. The earthquake in Toad Town shakes the foundation of the local communities. Goompa's porch is damaged, and he attempts to fix it. The porch will fall into the valley below, taking Goompa with it. Go save Goompa. And down here we're going to do timing shortly after the plot hook, right? Because it wouldn't make sense for the porch not to fall until the players are there to experience it, right? So if the porch breaks, whether or not the players are there to experience it, that might mean they may not get to Toad Town until after the porch has already collapsed. Maybe we can even, if they show up to the Goomba Village rather, later in the game, maybe the porch falling is the inciting incident for the fight between Junior Troopa and the village kids, where because the porch fell down and damaged Junior Troopa's playground, that's why he's bullying people. Goompa goes missing, you still gotta go find him. Yeah, exactly. It could happen while you're there. It could happen, you could meet Goompa, lead through something else, and when you come back, you hear about it. Or it could have happened long before you showed up and Goompa's already been retrieved, but there are other problems. This timed event is just letting the GM know that this will happen in the world, and you get to figure out how your players interact with it, if they even find out it happened at all. So yeah. So that's 3 whole events. Hi, Strider. I saw you, but I forgot to say hello back. Hello. Do you know what we're doing tonight? We are adapting Paper Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64 into notes for a tabletop role-playing game. We're not doing any specific game system. What about Cammy, the Gate, and the Hammer? That's an interesting point, because remember, Cammy only does that to block Mario specifically, right? Again, this is why we had to give new motivation to Goomboss, right? Originally, Goomboss was powered up to be a barricade to prevent Mario from progressing any further. Cammy coming by and damaging the gates was to stop Mario from progressing further. Mario's not here. The players are just random nobodies who managed to get out of the castle before Bowser properly lifted off with it. There's no good reason for Cammy to be on the player's trail yet. Players would literally just hop over the fence. Exactly. There's no actual stopping them. In the actual game, the block exists to force the player and Mario to go through with the Goomba quest, to learn to get the hammer, to learn how to fight against Junior. It's a tutorial mission. This is no longer a tutorial. This has to be its own unique adventure module set in this sandbox, and it cannot be required for the players to go through it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with including a note. Maybe we'll have it be a timed event. After the players have rescued 1 or 2 star spirits, Bowser now knows their name. Bowser now knows they're collecting the star spirits, and that's when he sends Cammy out to go and stop them. At that point, Cammy becomes a recurring issue where she will purposefully do things to block their path in order to prevent them from progressing. But not in this place here. Not in this place here. Maybe when we write up Cammy Koopa, we'll include potential blocking ideas based on where your players want to go next. So if your players want to go to Koopa Fortress and Cammy knows about them, we'll write them, Kamek is on vacation. We'll figure that out later. We can include suggestions for what exactly she'll do to block their path. Maybe if there's no Star Spirit in Goomba Village, but maybe if they want to go to Goomba Village specifically, we can say Cammy is the one who powers up Goomboss, if the players haven't been there yet. We can just change motivations on the fly to make the world feel alive. We can blame things on Cammy trying to stop the players once she is aware that they're a problem. And we can just go from there. So maybe we'll also want to we'll have the timed events be in the location where they're at, but we'll also have a list at the beginning of the document where it says, these are all the timed events that happen in the world regardless of your player's actions, and here's the page number they're on so you can go and become aware of them before you start playing. That would be useful for me, I think. Okay, so I think that's one area done. And we're not going to do Toad Town. So let's jump ahead to Storming Koopa Bros Fortress. Okay? Storming Koopa Bros Fortress should actually be split into 2 subsections. There should be the fortress proper. So let's lower this again to chapter 1A, which is Koopa Village. What are they called? They're not Spinies, are they? What are they called? Are they called Spinies in this game? Hold on, I can find out real quick. They're not Pokies. They're called fuzzies. Fuzzies. Thank you. It's like they're not called spinies. Spinies are something else entirely. So fuzzies attack. Now what's interesting is I don't believe the fuzzies actually have anything to do with Bowser and the Troopas. They're just a local nuisance. So I don't think there's actually like anything related to Star Spirits, just that there's an issue on the way. Actually, now that I think about it, the only reason we go to Koopa Village in the game proper is to get Cooper, a literal past, yes, is to get Cooper because there's a game mechanic preventing us from crossing a river. I don't feel like gating a TTRPG that way as well. So instead of making Cooper required to get through the Bros Fortress, it'll just be there. Maybe we'll try and combine them, but it's more like it's in the area. Like, technically speaking, you do not have to deal with Junior Troopa or Grandpa's Porch, Goompa's Porch, to deal with King Goomba's reign. You could just go to Goomba Village, fight King Goomba, and then leave. There's nothing making you stay there unless you get attached to the people. So similarity, we don't have to help them when fuzzies attack them. We don't have to ever go to Koopa Village. But if we do, they'll have a fuzzy attack, and it'll be a bit of a problem. All right, Chapter 2B is going to be Koopa Bros Fortress. Let me think. Is there a third thing? Technically, it happens later in the game, but Kent C... Oh, not Chapter 2B. I want Chapter 1B. I've forgotten my own naming convention already. 1B. Chapter 1C will be Kent C. Koopa's Toll. That happens later in the game, and I don't think there's actually much motivation given to Kent C. Koopa. Is it established that Kent C. is a member of the Troopa? Let's see here. Kent C. Koopa, a big greedy bully. Kent C. Koopa can really bring the pain. There's nothing that really mentions him. Hi, Cad. Welcome back. There's nothing that really mentions Kent C. having anything to do with anything now that I think about it. Is there a list of Goombario's tattles in this book? I feel like that's information. The paper trail. I don't think this book actually includes word for word what the tattles are. We could look it up. Oh, thank you, Cad. I appreciate that. This is Kent C. Koopa. He's pretty large and greedy. He seems to be in our way, and we can't slip past him because he's too big. But let us go by if we give him some coins. He's huge, but remember, he's just a Koopa Troopa. Okay, so even the tattle doesn't say anything about him being part of Bowser. You guys okay out there? I don't know if the microphone picked that up. You guys good? My roommate came home, and my beautiful wife was sitting on the porch reading a book, and she said hello and scared the shit out of our roommate because it is pitch black out there, and she apparently couldn't see my wife sitting on the porch when she walked up to the front door. So they started screaming at each other. Wife jump scare. Oh, God. If I remember correctly, Kent C. taught the Koopa Bros. That's an interesting thing. That's an interesting point. So we'll include these all as also from his battle. And by the way, is he not the hugest Koopa ever? Somebody told me he used to live in Koopa Village. That's a very interesting lore point. We can tie that in, depending on who goes where, what. Actually, you know what? Let's change this to a timed event. And we'll make it be after. Where is him teaching the Koopa Bros from? Let's see. Kent C. Okay. Can't see. A massive Koopa Troopa with bad eyesight blocks the path. He'll let you go if you pay him an increasingly large number of coins and packs a punch if you won't pay. Russ T mentions that. Interesting. All right. And then the timing after the player visits Koopa Village or defeats the Koopa Bros. So the implication will be that Kent C will be mentioned either by NPCs in Koopa Village, or the Koopa Bros will mention that they learned it from Kent C, or Kent C will say he taught the Koopa Bros. Actually, let's see here. Packs a punch if you won't pay. He taught the Koopa Bros their special attack and won't hesitate to show you how a master uses it. That's me fluffing it a little bit, but we'll go with it. All right? So we have a timed event. It happens after the player visits Koopa Village or defeats Koopa Bros. Now, mind you, with the world map being what it is, Koopa Bros attack is a team attack. How can he use it? By spinning really fast and doing the same thing? I don't fucking know. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But the Bros Fortress is here. Koopa Town is here. There's a path leading to the Fuzzy Village. On the other side of the woods, however, we have the Earth Velumental Temple and Picnic Road. So it's entirely possible that they'll never head back down Pleasant Path where Kent C is located. That is a massive cliff. Have you never played D&D? If they see a temple in the distance, they'll see, we're heading north, we're going to that temple, get your climbing gear out, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. It's entirely possible they'll never see him if they go down Pleasant Path, but also, Pleasant Path would be the pleasant path of least resistance. So maybe they'll meet him, maybe they won't. Who knows? It's entirely up to them. How are we doing, chat, by the way? Are you enjoying this? Is this interesting to anybody? A lot of people in chat are here for Mario lore, and I don't know if the actual, mechanics of planning out a campaign are making sense to you, or if you're just listening to me talk and being like, that's a Mario thing that I know. That's a Mario thing that I know. It's very interesting to you. Good. I'm glad. I'm very, very glad. You love both? It's very fun. I'm glad you're having a good time. We're doing this every weekend until the end of December at least. You missed a good chunk. The VOD will be up if you want to watch it again, and eventually this document will be available for the public. So don't worry about it. Okay. Let us look. Let's do Koopa Village first. All right? Let's do Koopa Village first. That's going to be its own whole thing all by itself. All right. We go past the Toad Town tunnels. Storming Koopa Bros Fortress. Alrighty then. So Koopa Village, Fuzzy's attack. We are going to want to include let's see, let's go back up. We have encounters, items to find, character chart. Okay. So let's do encounters, items to find, character chart. Okay. And then with items to find, we have question mark block. We have what was the other one we had? Question mark block. We had local resources and then special rewards. Question mark block, special resources, And then, no, it was special rewards and local resources. Silly me. All right. The local resources I already know is going to be the Koopa Leaf, which you can turn into a tea. Let's see here. For special rewards, there... You guys good? Okay. There is the HP plus. There is an FP. Oops. FP plus. There is a... Alright, blocks. There is going to be a fire flower. There's going to be a thunderbolt. There's going to be a honey syrup. There's going to be... What else do we got here? What else do we got here? A lot of stuff, actually. Dizzy attack, fright jar. Good lord. Dizzy attack, fright jar. Pow block. Another sleepy sheep. And I think that's all the stuff. Oh, no, there's going to be dried shrooms as well, for some reason. Alright. Dried shroom. Alright, this is everything you can find in the question mark blocks during that in that area. The local resources are Koopa Leaf. Special rewards are HP plus and FP plus. And you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and add in another section, which is shop.
Oh, no.
The shop has Dizzy Dial for 10, Fire Flower for 8, Honey Syrup for 8. Believe it or not, most of game design is just boring data entry. And unfortunately, you all are here on this journey with me while I do this. And then last but not least, the Volt Shroom for 15. These numbers, of course, are suggestions based on the game data. If they use it for a different system that has like higher or lower quantities of cash coming out, they can obviously adjust it as needed. Okay. As for characters, all right, there are 4 major characters that I can think of in Koopa Village that we need to know about. All right, so we're going to insert a table. It's going to be 2 columns with 4 rows. All right, so we have Cooper. We have Colorado's wife. Oof. We have Koopa Coot. Is there any other individual that has any major... No, I think the rest are just random Koopas. Oh, the Bob-omb refugees. All right, the Bob-omb refugees, once you clear up the fuzzy thing, is going to be like the hook for getting you to go after the Koopa Fortress. Bruce? Colorado himself at some point. That's true. Do I include Colorado here? At this point in the game, he's already off in Dry Desert and not coming back. So I feel like having him in Dry Desert is the best place for his information. Bruce is Bombette's admirer. Fucking Bruce. Fucking Bruce. Fucking Bruce. Okay, so let's start with Cooper. He's the next partner in the game that we have to wrangle with. Also, since we're including partners, this means that characters like Captain T. Ode and what's his name? Billy, the Bob-omb from Origami King, they'll be included as recruitables in this campaign if you meet them. Maybe only temporary recruitables, but excuse me, Meatloaf? Brisket, can you not mess with my camera right now? Thank you. T.O. shouldn't be? You don't think so? Okay, well, He's frozen under the desert. That's a valid point, actually. That's a valid point. Well, if you unfreeze him from under the desert, then maybe... I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Bobby! Okay, yeah. So Bobby will be a recruitable. Technically, any character could be a recruitable if your DM says so and you have a good enough reason to. I personally would not say no to my party having a bunch of friends follow them around, but that's just me. I can handle that. Not every DM can. All right, so Cooper. The Bob-omb could have worked in Cooper Bros Fortress. Technically, his name is just Bob-omb. All right, let me pull up Cooper. Okay. His information is the happy-go-lucky Koopa from Koopa Village will join your party after you retrieve his shell. When you have him by your side, you can use his shell to pick up items or hit objects that are out of your reach. His shell flies away, then comes back like a boomerang. As much as I love Cooper, he has next to no actual character development. He is scared of fighting the fuzzies, and he doesn't want to be seen by people without a shell. But he gets the gumption up to come handle it himself after Mario's taking care of it, and out of like a duty to pay him back, he joins Mario's party. Yes?
I'm opening a bottle of champagne, so it's gonna be a loud pop.
Oh, okay. It's not a gunshot though, right? Okay, then we're good. That is true. He admires Colorado like Goombario admires Mario. That's a good point. That's a good point. So, let's see. Blue shelled Koopa admires Colorado, but suffers from not anxiety, not fear. It's more like he worries about self-image too much to adventure. Obviously, this changes like immediately in the game itself, but we want to have like an actual character arc for this character to go on. And obviously, fighting the fuzzies is where he decides he doesn't care anymore. He has to do what he has to do, and that's where he develops that. Motivation. Motivation. To be a great explorer. Ability. Boomerang shell. Boomerang shell will not be required to like get anywhere, but it could be useful, especially if players want to cheese going places. Honestly, any gap in the game can be solved by handing Cooper one end of a rope and having him boomerang himself to the other side of a crevasse. Honestly, that actually, if they manage to go to Koopa Village before going to Goomba Village, they could have Cooper replace the bridge to attack King Goomba from behind. So, there's that. That's definitely an idea. Okay. So that's good. Koopa Koot. We're not going to bother putting information for him in here. Part of me wants to leave the fetch quest in ad-lib. Not ad-lib, like it as it is. I want to perfectly recreate the entire list of Koopa Koot favors. Just so that a DM can torture. His fetch quest is so long and it's barely worth it. By the time you actually have the fast travel to all the places he wants you to go, like he gives you some star pieces which you need, expand it with a new, make it worse, make it worse, make it worse. Oh god damn. But yeah, no, definitely. Actually, let's put Bruce up here and Colorado's wife down here. 15 star pieces total. That's a lot of star pieces. All right, Bruce. Bruce is the one who keeps exploding and won't shut up, right? A Bob-omb refugee from the captured Koopa Bros Fortress. Deeply in love he tells you to go to the temple for him to pray to the Earth Velumental, and then you have to go all the way there. Yeah, no, stuff like that. With Bombette, who is held captive. Too busy, what is the word? Pining to actually save her. Motivation. Making Bombette fall in love with him. Simple enough. Simple as. So if you interact with Bruce, not only will you be made aware that there are refugees from the Bomb Fortress with the Cooper Brothers taking over, you'll also hear everything there is to know about Bombette and how cool she is and how beautiful she is and how her explosions just light up the night sky. So it'll be like a massive yelling in your face hook to be like, there's someone over there who's been kidnapped. I think she's great, maybe, and also the Cooper Bros Fortress isn't their fortress. So that's a good enough hook, in my opinion. We'll come back to Koopa Coot and Colorado's wife later. So we have the question mark blocks, we have the character chart. All right, now we get to the... Actually, hold on. Yeah, this is all just in this area. So let's do the major encounters for the overall area. The encounters here are fuzzies. And that's it. Will they somehow get the knowledge of the Star Spirit locations as well? I haven't planned that out yet. That's normally from Twink. I feel like Twink could still be used. Again, timed events. There's nothing stopping Princess Peach from still Metal Gear Soliding her way around the castle to gain information. But also, she wouldn't have any reason to send Twink after the party themselves. It got censored in chat. Oh no! Oh no! Yikes. That's a good question. That will entirely depend on the DM and the players. I will think about that later. Guys in the kitchen? Guys in the kitchen? Beautiful?
Yes?
Hi. You guys can have your conversation, that's fine, but please be quiet when you say words about physical anatomy. You spoke very loudly and my mic picked up on one particular word, and I'm like, I have kids watching this. Hello.
Also, I used the atomically correct term.
I know you did. Hi. Everyone say hello to my beautiful wife.
Hi, everybody.
There's a camera on so they can see you. Can I?
Oh, no.
Yeah, see right there in the corner?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Can I have a kiss?
Sure.
Mwah. I love you so much. I love you so much. Mwah. All right, leave me to this.
Who's all here?
Mostly Marioverse people. So
hello,
Marioverse. We got Kat here. We got Sophie here. I think Ghostly's from Marioverse. A bunch of people who like Mario stuff, basically.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. It is my wife, and I love her very, very much. One more kiss?
Yeah.
Mwah.
I love you.
I love you. I don't want them to shut up entirely because they have a right to be in the kitchen, but every once in a while they say a big swear word, and I'm like, I don't want to get banned off Twitch. Oh no! If they have a heated gamer moment, I'm done for, guys. I'm just fucking done for. What were we talking about? We were talking about information lore delivery. Again, as I mentioned previously, part of the prologue event at Princess Peach's castle, part of talking to the party goers is to learn lore about the Star Spirits and the Star Rod before the adventure itself starts. So the players should be aware that Bowser has the Star Rod and that it's made him invincible, so they should be motivated to learn more about the Star Rod and by extension the Star Spirits. As for finding out where the Star Spirits are, I don't have a plan for that yet. The party may very well just use their knowledge of Paper Mario to just go for the Star Spirits they want to go for. I don't know. But there are 7 MacGuffins, and they gotta find them. How they learn about them, we'll figure out later. As for encounters in Koopa Village, let's see here. There are fuzzies in this area, and that's about it. All right, let's zip back to page 100. Okay. Let's see. Koopa Village is fuzzy. Pleasant Path. Oh boy. Pleasant Path has Goomba, Paragoomba, Paratroopa, Koopa Troopa, Spiked Goomba, Kent C, and then technically Junior Troopa. But these are optional. These are optional encounters. And then we're gonna keep the Koopa Bros Fortress separate. Actually, you know what? Let's make our own. This chapter in general, these guys can be found everywhere, but fuzzies specifically are found in chapter 1A. Okay. There we go. All right. Now then, let's scroll down to the characters. Koopa Bros Fortress. The Koopa Bros Fortress specifically is going to be its own dungeon, but we will mark off the information about it. All right. The 4 Koopa Bros have taken over the Bob Fortress, capturing the Bob-Ombs and setting up traps to protect the Star Spirit. It's L-Star that they have, right? L-Star? Eldstar, I think, is the name. Yes, okay. They have protect this Star Spirit Eldstar. It's gonna be more of a dungeon than anything, and I don't really know how I'm gonna word dungeon design just yet. Save the Bob-Ombs. Rescue the Star Spirit. The Bob-Ombs work for them. The Bros overwork them and imprison the ones who were... Oh, I see. That's a bit different then. That's a bit different. Thank you for correcting my knowledge of the game. Koopa Bros have set up traps to protect the Star Spirit L-Star. Their Bob-Omb lackeys. Let's see. They're trying to be pedantic. No, this is good information. This is good information. They order their Bob-Omb lackeys to work overtime. Though some have rebelled. The rebel bombs are imprisoned in the deepest part of the fortress. Save the imprisoned bombs, rescue the Star Spirit, and liberate Koopa Fortress. Okay, simple enough. And then from this point forward, I will include a separate page entirely, which is the layout of the fortress, the traps that are in there, and how they can reach the star, and all of that jazz. But that's not something I can do right now tonight. That's going to require some work. It feels like a bit of a cop-out to be like, and this is where the dungeon would be, and then I don't actually make the dungeon, but I feel like spending an entire section of my time making a quick overview of the dungeon is not really worth it. I want to read the dungeon as it is in game, figure out how to translate the feeling of that dungeon into TTRPGs. A good example of this, actually, is when we come to Forever Forest, which we're not doing right now. But Forever Forest has a gimmick where you have to find the right path to lead you to Boo Mansion, right? Specific to design can last. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Or we'd spend an entire stream on one dungeon and not have the rest. It may not even be the dungeon that a player goes to first, you know? Why spend that much time on it? Forever Forest has the gimmick where if you choose the wrong path, you're booted back out at the start of the forest. In a game where you are having encounters with overworld enemies, choosing the wrong path and starting over again in a single-player game, that's annoying, but it gives you the vibe of being lost in a forest. In TTRPGs, I'd want to do that entirely differently in order to get the same vibe across without just being like asking the players, and now which path do you take? And they go, the left path. Oh, it's the wrong one. You gotta start over. No, that's not cool. That's not cool. One of the ways that I have done being lost somewhere in a game before, actually I got from what's his name? Dungeon Craft on YouTube. Professor Dungeon Master on the Dungeon Craft channel is an older gentleman. He's in his like 50s, I believe, maybe a little older than that. He has a teenage son of his own. I mean, I could technically have a teenage son of my own if I got started really young, but that's neither here nor there. He started playing with the original D&D. So he's been doing D&D for years, and he has a very specific style of play that I don't really follow, but I still enjoy his opinions because, you know, he has a lot of experience, and he's on YouTube, and he talks about them. One of his dungeons is being lost in a dungeon with a minotaur coming after you. And the gimmick that he uses to make the players feel lost in the dungeon is to establish right off the bat that they are going to get lost in this labyrinth, right? There's no way to properly determine where you are. Every time a player wants to travel from the room they're in to attempt to find something else, they roll on a d6, and whichever result they land on is where they end up going to. You describe them, you describe the dungeon they're traveling through, but then they somehow get turned around and they show up at a room they've been at before. And the idea is that while they're trying to travel this labyrinth, the Minotaur has a percentage chance of also being in that room. So they're trying to chase this monster who knows the room much better than they ever will. And they're trying to find their path, and they can't because of how twisty and turny this labyrinth is. From a player's perspective, they know it's all due to the dice. They can't control where they go, and that's the fun. On a character level, they're trying to figure stuff out, but they'll never be able to. So incorporating that kind of thing into Forever Forest, being like, you can only find your way to Boo's mansion after you've been to this room, that room, and the other room, and then having it be like, you traveled into the woods, and it's spooky and dark, and you show up in this clearing that you swear you've seen before, and it's the same clearing. And there's random encounters as they travel along. It'll give them the more vibe of Forever Forest being dangerous and hard to travel through, while also making it not impossible or boring to reach Boo's mansion. And obviously, once you reach Boo's mansion and you have the fast travel, you never need to enter the forest again unless you feel like it. So reading each individual dungeon in the game book and then finding a way to translate the feel of it into a TTRPG is something that I want to give each dungeon proper time to develop. With Koopa Village, it's a straight shot, you fight some fuzzies and that's the adventure. With Goomba Village, it's a straight shot. You fight Junior, you fight the Goon Boss, and that's the adventure. With individual dungeons, individual puzzles, that will require a little more thinking on my part. Let's see what else we can do tonight. I have about a half an hour left before I want to dip. Let's see here. What do I want to do next? What can I do real quick in just half an hour? Well, let's look at Toad Town, actually. Let's look at Toad Town. Let's go to Toad Town, and let's give it a look. Just a quick one. Because we have different areas that are blocked off on at different parts of the game, right? So we'll need to have their own individual sections and have excuses to block off those areas. Will the players respect it? Probably not. But it looks actually there's 2 bridges now. Sophie has added a connection to Pleasant Path, most likely because this in Origami King went directly to the castle, and we had to put all this in here first. So this northern section of Toad Town is the area that is immediately available to the players in Paper Mario 64. This is all they can interact with. They have the Shroom Grocery, they have Rusty's house, the dojo's closed, they have Merlin's house, and they have the badge shop here. And their only direction is to head back to Goomba Village or to head off to Koopa Village. That's it. There is a tree blocking the path down into this area, which is where Tasty's house is, Harry's shop is, Shy Guy's toy box, and even that goes further down to the pier area, and even further down to the train area. We can't access the train until after we get Bombette. And when we do, the train doesn't function until Bombette blows it up. So we do know that Toad Town needs to have some severe damage from the earthquake in order to block off certain things. So like a tree falls on the bridge and breaks the bridge. You can't get across here. Having a tree fall on both bridges would be a little ridiculous. And Shooting Star Summit, that is true. And Shooting Star Summit. We have access to Shooting Star Summit. So we would need a way to have... Well, actually, you know what? It's big lag on chat? Oh, most definitely. At this point in the stream, like, my stream has lagged slightly so much that you're only hearing what I say a good, 20 seconds after I say it. I can't do anything. I can't do anything to stop that, but stop and restart the stream, but I'm not going to do that. What if... Remember I mentioned that when... In the initial adventure kickoff, when you're trying to escape from Princess Peach's castle, what if the people you manage to save ends up directly determining what is available in Toad Town, right? Maybe there won't even be an obvious connection between them. Maybe the Shroom Grocery will be closed if you don't save the right dignitary, because the next shipment was coming from their area and they're too worried about their missing dignitary to have it go through. Maybe Tasty is the one who was cooking, or Tasty's sister was the one in the kitchens, and if you don't get her out, she's not going to physically be home in order for you to get food from her. Maybe we actually tie the various resources to who we save from Peach's castle. And that's actually really interesting, because if, for example, we don't save the right person to allow us access to the train, that means until we can find someone to run the train, there's no way we're going to be getting to Dry Desert. If we do not save, I don't know, a specific certain... Maybe it's less... Maybe you only get access to certain areas if you save X number of people. Maybe. So that immediately, not only is Toad Town damaged, the kind of resources you have to fix Toad Town back up changes based on your actions in the opening section. That sounds... What do you guys think? I mean, I'm going to include it because I had the idea. One thing I was wondering is what to do with the many ever so slightly different shops that the two combined towns have. We want the shops to be visibly reminiscent of the shops in the game world, so that people who have played the games will recognize them. But we will want to alter, like for example, the weapon shop from Origami King, that sells you like, what does it sell you actually? I don't actually know what it sells you. You like that? Okay, good. Obviously, we'll want to tweak it when we get to that point. Right now, we're just focusing on the Paper Mario 64 content. Let's scroll all the way back up. Plot hook. Who you rescue will change what resources are available to fix Toad Town. And we'll figure out the specifics later. Because mushrooms, flowers, boots, hammers, the usual. So we know that mushrooms and flowers are sold at Shroom Grocery. Boots and hammers, having it be a weapon shop. Just changing its stuff so it's just weapons and armory. Harry's shop tends to be more power-ups. So we'll have a power-up shop. We'll work a bit. We'll go section by section and see what needs to be shifted. We'll also need to have character descriptions for Rusty, Merlon himself, the post office master, Tasty, Harry, the fun, funky, and functional accessory shop. Dear God, the museum. The museum's gonna need to have an entire new use to it or the museum is gonna have stuff scattered throughout the world to give to players as rewards to bring back to the museum. Stuff like Parakarry's letter quest, Koopa Koot's fetch quest, the museum, stuff that will require the player to go out into the world and adventure. Those will all be terribly optional in a campaign, but also like if a player gets like really invested in delivering mail, I'm not going to stop them. I want to include those side quests in this campaign because there's going to be at least one player somewhere who says, "Fuck yeah, I want to deliver the goddamn mail. Like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna deliver the mail. This is my life now. I'm having the time of my life." Then the DM knows, like, okay, I'll put people in front of him who have things that he has to be delivered, and then they'll want to go places to deliver them. So stuff like that. I'm trying to think what else we can talk about. The thing that really gets me is 100% the campaign. I don't know if that'll be possible, but if I make this document and put it out to the world, and someone in 5 years comes back and says, "We did everything you put in the document," I will cry actual tears. I doubt anyone will do it, but it's a possibility. The one thing that really bothers me, and this is more an issue I have with Paper Mario 64 itself, is that the first half of the game, right? Let me look at the chapters real quick. Look at the chapters real quick. Okay, so actually it starts off pretty quickly. Now that I think about it, a lot of areas are visibly connected to Toad Town. We have Goomba Village, we have Koopa Bros Fortress, we have Star Hill, right? We have the lower section we have Forever Forest, right? These areas are visibly connected to Toad Town. They're nearby. Gusty Gulch is connected via Forever Forest. So like all of this stuff is like, yes, this exists in tandem with Toad Town. But then you have Dry Ruins. You have the Shy Guys Toy Box. You have Flower Fields. You have Shiver City. All of those places are disconnected from Toad Town, and it makes sense. Yoshi's Island, fucking Lava Island, right? They're disconnected from Toad Town in a way that makes it feel like you've left the play area behind and you're like separate. In some instances, like Lava Island, I like that they make you like go back to where the Yoshis are. Like the toy box is very close to Toad Town. It's a sub-dimension inside Toad Town, but you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like you journeyed there. It felt like they plopped it down in a corner and said, and now you go to the clown adventure. It doesn't feel as cohesive as some of the other areas do. And that's a big problem for this map specifically, because we have the train track off the Dry Desert, but unless we zoom out real far, Dry Desert is going to be like way down south. Do we fill in that space? Do we allow them to walk off to Dry Desert without using the train? Will we have enough content to fill that space? Having the player go out to Yoshi's Island because it's out to sea, that's one thing, right? Lava Island, that's out to sea. That's fine. Shiver City's all the way in the north. Do we fill in that area, allow them to walk to Shiver City? Or is the pipe in the sewers the only way there? How did the people from Shiver City get to the party? There has to be a logical way that they transformed here. It needs like Blubble Lake. Yeah, no. My thought process is if we start including Bowser's Inside Story, we need Blubble Lake. I actually don't know if that's in Bowser's Inside Story. Wrong. Plaque Beach. I know there's a forest down here that Bowser travels through that has that tower with the inventor. I haven't played all the way through Bowser's Inside Story either. There are locations. You can include Booster's Tower and Marymore up here. You could have Rose Town over here somewhere. You could have Monstro Town listed somewhere nearby. Bowser's Fortress, Bowser's Koopa Land should be somewhere in the northeast. If you add these areas, you also open the possibility of the Origami King areas. That is true. Just true. So, like, how big of a world am I willing to make for this project? We can try and fill in the gaps, but in trying to make the story of Paper Mario 64, the design of some of these locations feel disconnected in a way that's very difficult to parse. Especially with the tram car. Yes, the tram car does open up a lot of areas. But then in the end, if we have a map where we have all of Mario RPG up here, Bowser's Inside Story down here, Yoshi's Island we have to go to, Shiver City in the north, all these places, at what point does this campaign map just become the entire Mushroom Kingdom? That's a bit much. Obviously, this is not going to be a project that we finish in one go, and unfortunately, for the purposes of Marioverse, in order to fill in these spaces, I'm going to have to make shit up. And that's not ideal. For this stream, for this December stream event, I am just going to focus on the Paper Mario 64 locations, and then if we have time by the end of the month, I'll flesh out some of the Origami King stuff. I am hoping I can't take a random Captain Toad level. Come on. I don't want Sean to shoot me dead, honestly. That's not a bad idea, actually. My hope is that for some people who are in chat right now, once I have a template for how I write out the individual locations, people will then be able to use that to write up in games that I haven't played, and maybe it can become more of a collaborative project with the Mario TTRPG server that I'm in. That's not required. That's not assumed. But that's like the end goal, is to have enough information to flesh out this area so it makes everything feel connected. Even Shiver City all the way in the north, even Dry Desert all the way in the south. And, yeah. That's what I got for today. So, I'm going to increase my camera here So once again, I do want to thank Lady Sophie17 for the beautiful map that she has provided. I want to thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Next time, I am going to have looked through specifically the first couple of dungeons, the Koopa Troopa Tower, Forever Forest, and Boo's Mansion. And I'll probably also look into... You really did just tune in back at the end. I'm sorry. We'll be doing this next week, though. Next Friday, most likely. If not next Friday, then next Sunday. Or this Friday, next Sunday. I will... Toad Town Sewers, Forever Forest, and Boo's Mansion, and the Koopa Troopa Bros Fortress, I'll have looked through and have at least some ideas for how I'm going to adapt them. I probably won't have maps, but that's fine. I'll just have ideas that we can work off of on stream. Thank you again to everyone who so graciously donated me money to buy these books. I love them so much. They are the reason this project exists. And this VOD will be up soon. When the project is over at the end of December, I'll release the document to the public. I'm not going to have the write-up available just yet. If you have any ideas or suggestions, I would love to hear them. I'll compile them and talk about them next stream. Tomorrow, we are going to be continuing our playthrough of Super Mario RPG. We just finished... What did we just finish? We just finished Seaside, I think. No, we stopped in Monstro Town, and we got up to whatever that next area was. And that is where we stopped. So, we'll be continuing on from there. I actually think we're nearing the end of the game. I think we have, like, one major area, and then we're back at Bowser's to fight the Smithy Gang. So, that should be fun. Oh, boy. I hopefully will see you guys, then. Let's find someone... I don't have my... Oh, I do my phone. Let's see who's streaming. Did my phone really die? My phone died. My phone fucking died. Let's find someone who I can send you guys off to. Let's see if there's a Mario person streaming right now. Let's see. Twitch.tv. Close all of this. There we go. Who do I know who's streaming? Let's go raid them. Oh no, my phone is on. It's just not... Alright, whatever. Let's see here. We have Jimmy Wetzel's playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I kind of want something more Mario related. What's a Mario game? You know what? Let's see. Let's see who's playing Paper Mario. And go tell them about our project. Let's see here. We have Sunday Fun Day by Leerily. Oh, no, wait. We have a whole bunch of them. Mental Health Mario, Mario's Pizza. Are any of them VTubers? Are any of them VTubers? None of them are VTubers. There's no VTubers playing Paper Mario 64. Let's go with Mental Health Mario by Bunker J King. We're going to raid them because they're only playing... It looks like they're playing through Goombas. They're playing through King Goomba right now. So let's do raid Bunker J King. Send them all a good yeehaw. Tell them what we've been doing. Maybe it'll convince them to come to stream next time. And I will see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye. I really need to shave. Oh my god, my double chin. Look how poofy I am. Look what a fucking neckbeard I've become. 30 years old, man. It does stuff to you. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.